All right, we're both looking all right. Yeah. Why is it every episode I start off laughing? Like every time I start off, it's like somebody says something that like is. Yeah. Sorry. Let's get it rolling. Honestly, you're one of my favorite show people to talk to. I know who you are, but why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
My name is Brian Shipe. I've been detailing professionally for 5 years, but I've also always detailed growing up, family and friend stuff. Growing up in Michigan, it's cars are just born and bred into. So
it's nice that we finally get like a close Midwestern guy on the show. Everybody else has been California, Colorado, Nebraska, so it's like nice to have somebody almost hometownish here.
it's true.
Because you're from a small town, same as I am.
Yeah.
I mean, my small town is like 2,000 people. Yours is about the same.
Yeah.
So it's nice that I think that's probably why, after you and I have talked now for quite a bit, like getting to know you a little bit, the reason why you and I are so easygoing with most things are because we grew up in the small towns.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised. Like, how old are you?
33.
33. So you started when you were 28?
Yeah.
Full time.
Full time.
What'd you do before that?
Bartended and bar managed for
that's right.
about 10 years throughout, from West Palm Beach, Florida, to Louisville, Kentucky, to Phoenix.
So what made you decide to get into the detail?
I was bartending and bar managing, and I had a friend sell me a carpet cleaning trailer because his son didn't want to do it anymore. He was a contractor, they built out a bunch of homes and stuff, so they had spec homes and they had rental homes that just needed cleaning when people came out. So
Sure.
It was like, here's a trailer, I'll sell it to you, my son doesn't want to do it anymore, you can make extra money while you're bartending, you get a 3 to 4 day window, I'll email you the address, houses were clean, I just went in and did the carpet. Well, on that carpet cleaning machine I had a shampooer, so I went from like being able to do like basic details to, okay, I can start shampooing.
Yeah.
Which is, looking back today, I hate shampooing.
I will admit, like, shampooing is the main reason I got out of detailing.
I mean, I'll admit it that I'm spoiled now. I don't touch a lot of things I have to shampoo. But
Like, when my extractor broke was the best day of my life.
yeah, it's like being a bartender and then the blender breaks.
You don't have to make mix.
Can you shampoo? No, the extractor's broken. Can you make a margarita frozen? No.
Yeah, blender's broke. That's actually really good. That's a great analogy because, like, the day my extractor broke, I looked at the price of a new one, and it was like $5,000
Oh yeah.
for like a decent steam extractor.
Real like commercial one. Like nowadays, like everyone uses the Mighties and stuff like that. They're like $900 to $1,500 depending on what you're getting there. But you really want a commercial like like a black stallion unit or like any of those like real ones that you'd use to do a house. You're talking $5-6 grand.
Yeah, it was like $5,000 or $6,000. And I'm like, I was only charging like $200 an interior. And I started calculating that out. I'm like, all right, I was using fingers and toes to try and figure out how I was going to recoup the cost of this extractor. And I was like, this is dumb.
Well,
why am I doing
nowadays
this?
with products, a lot of the chemicals they're making now and steam will do 90% of your shampooing.
And
unless you're pulling soda or something that they've really spilled heavily into the carpet, most of it is like spot treating for the most part.
really?
Yeah, the full shampoos are going to be your mom's minivans and...
that's all I got. Like, being in a small town here, like, that's all you got. Like, when people brought stuff, it was like, hey, my kid puked in the back seat. Can you clean it?
especially
I'm
up
like,
here,
whoa.
all winter long, no one's going to touch their interior because it's going to get salty anyway.
So it was like all summer long during my busy season, everybody wanted to clog the bay up with a puke-ridden minivan, and it was like, no, I'm over it. Like, when the extractor took a dump, that was it.
Yeah, I think I've had 2 calls from Uber drivers about puke in the cars, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm too busy.
Like, just the thought of, like, back in the day when I used to deal with that, I'm like, I do not miss that at all.
No.
Like,
Don't get me wrong. I mean, detailing is always going to be your bread and butter. That's where your money is. But
yeah, and honestly, for me, I was lucky. Like, once the metal polishing took over, like, the money outweighed the detailing, and it just didn't make sense for me to stay detailing anymore. And thanks to Paul and thanks to you, like, I've done some buffing again lately, and I realized like I kind of missed it a little bit. Like,
I will never say that about polishing aluminum. But now that I can start doing it. But,
I was gonna say you're not bad at it.
it's not that it's just everything I've done has been self-taught for the most part.
Yeah.
So like, I can only imagine like the first like 9 cars that I buffed. Like looking back, like they had to look like terrible.
I'm telling you, my first 6 years, I was not a good polisher.
No, like I didn't buff a car for 2 years of detailing. I told people I wasn't comfortable with it. I was so afraid of burning the paint off, and everything you hear, right?
Yeah.
And then you start realizing like DAs and all this stuff is super easy to use, but yeah, I mean now that I'm doing just paint corrections and coatings for the most part, I look, how it is when you look back and you were using whatever you could, you were figuring it out. I could only imagine what some of the vehicles I did look like. I'm sorry if people are watching this. Your car may have looked like crap 4 years ago. But yeah, now it's like you saw, like the products really, the technology has grown.
The
so
technology's
fast.
gotten crazy.
I mean, the Angel Wax products we use today on your truck.
So, yeah, you used Angel Wax.
Yeah.
So that's one of the companies you use. And one of the more interesting things for myself is I've seen you with another company that hits the show circuit. And you guys have kind of like partnered up. Minettes?
Yeah, so now it started out, I was detailing
Under a company called Desert Detail.
Yeah, that was the original business because we were in Phoenix and it made sense.
Yep.
And John had sent me a bottle. Didn't even send me a bottle. He sent me an IM or a DM on Instagram saying.
John is the owner of Minettes.
He's the chemist and the owner.
Okay.
We're now partial together, but
you guys are partners in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he sent me saying, I got this product, which is Mega Shine, which is the original product you made. It'll shine your tires and it'll clean your windows.
I think that's the product that Keenan and I saw at Daytona the first year we met you guys.
3.5 years, 4 years? Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
But that was the only product he had, and I told him he was an idiot. I was like, there's no way I'm dressing my tires and I'm cleaning my windows and cleaning my paint with the same product. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So he sent us a bottle. It sat on the shelf for like 3 months. I'd ran out of something, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. So we tried it, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'll try it on tires. And that's where I fell in love with it, was on tires, it was 100% dry.
Yeah.
I could soak the tire, let it dry, and it was dry. Like, you could drag your hands across it.
Yeah.
So, went to SEMA that year. I told him, send me 80 bottles. I'll help you push it around, right?
Wow.
He sent me 80
That's
bottles.
a commitment.
He sent me 80 bottles. I was like, well, if you want it to go anywhere, it needs to go to SEMA.
Yeah. No,
That's
100%.
where the new products really get pushed.
100%.
So, being that it was completely dry on the tires, I was like, this is going to kill it for the trucks.
Yeah.
Because,
You can dress it on the beginning of the week.
I can dress those treads, they can dry in, and they'll be fine.
And not dress them again for
You
the rest of
throw
the
on
week.
a solvent-based dressing, and that's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
and it's dusty there too, so to collect dust all week.
So it kind of like, that's where it all got started. The first truck we used it on was Lady Luck.
Yep.
With Josh, and Josh was just like, you send us all products every time you go home from shows. Why don't you put your name on a product? And it was like, that's where the wheels got turned. And I helped John get going with 3 more products, which is detail products. And then at that time, he had made us gloss sauce and a quick details product under Desert Detail. And we were doing the 2 lines. And then over the last 2 years, it's been kind of just getting busier and busier with both of them. And I was either detailing and doing really well detailing, and then I would start slowing down on products. I wasn't pushing products, or I could push products and then I wasn't focusing on detailing as much.
I will tell you, like, that's one of the biggest struggles for myself is marketing both, like marketing my business and product.
Yeah.
Like it's
2 businesses.
I've said this in a previous podcast, and I think it's the one that's going to air right before this one. I could use a media manager. Like, seriously, I'm almost to the point now where
having somebody just run just social media would change.
Oh, it would help me a ton. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I just don't do, and I just don't know because I don't have enough time to research like proper hashtags to be using on a regular basis. Like, what's trending on Instagram? Like, is it the swiping? Is it the Rolodex, whatever it is?
I do better on that. What I need to learn on that is like how to do AdWords and all this stuff, like the SEO.
See, the AdWords and the SEO stuff, like I caught on to that pretty quick. So like my website's killing it. Like if you search it, I'm in the top first page on almost everything. So like I'm doing fine there, but my YouTube videos do well because I know which ones which tags I need to target and stuff like that. Like I watch all that stuff trending. I wish Instagram had a way to track.
Probably
like,
Instagram is their algorithm changes so much.
It changes so often.
One day you'll post something and use a hashtag that you've never used before. It makes no sense. Like when we did that donut video.
Yep.
With the gum balls, with the locker down safe. That was supposed to be just a dumb thing to help locker down gumballs.
And it blew up.
That stupid video had almost 1 million views in 24 hours.
That's crazy.
Nothing I've ever posted has anything close to that ever.
Right.
And all I did was hashtag like 4 things in Krispy Kreme. It wasn't even like I don't get it. I do 30 hashtags and all the things on every other post, and never get that. But it's just hit and miss.
That's what I mean. Like, I got into TikTok because of my Nebraska franchise. Like, he's big on TikTok. Like, he's got a
I
solid
had TikTok
following.
for like 2 weeks, and then we deleted it. But I'm thinking about getting back on there.
Honestly, I've been getting a lot of fresh, like, new customers from TikTok.
That's where I got one customer out of Delaware. One client for detailing was TikTok.
Ridiculous.
I was like, you saw me on TikTok?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, I didn't realize, like, I listen to Gary Vee a lot, and Gary Vee's
that's my favorite podcast.
He's been pumping TikTok forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll break down and I'll do it. I did it, and like a couple of my videos, like all of a sudden hit 250,000 views, and I was getting people like messaging me on a regular basis. I was like, whoa, like I'm getting way more response out of this than I am through.
Oh, I was getting 50,000 views within like 10 minutes on TikTok.
Like how?
Because there's more people on it.
That's what I said. Is there's less drama. You're not posting memes back and forth at each other. Like there's so much less drama on TikTok. It's just post it and see what happens.
Well, and it's easier to make videos.
Yeah, and most of us are doing videos anyways because we want people to see the quality of our work. So
that's one thing I need to work on, is being more visual for the company, I guess, because I'm always by myself, so it's hard to get someone to take pictures of me or whatever, and I always feel awkward on camera, like right now, but...
For what it's worth, like, I just pretend there's nobody on the other side.
That's true.
Like, I just always tell myself, like, I don't mind standing up in front of a crowd and talking to people because I know I can see the reaction from people.
At SEMA all day. People ask me all the time, can I watch you detail, or I get customers, can I sit here and watch you polish this? And I'm like, absolutely.
But a camera, I just pretend nobody's there.
That's true.
Like, I just act like nobody's going to watch it because I don't feel like I would sit and watch this.
This is true.
But nonetheless, like, people do, and it's worked out great because, like, I started the whole podcast to try and get other polishers and, like, beginners, detailers and polishers, like, a constructive outlet to just listen to other people that are going through the same things.
And seeing some of us that are fortunate enough to do the nicer stuff and not feel like we go through the same problems that we did at day one. We still go through the same problems.
It doesn't matter if you started off polishing Ford Escorts or $1 million Lamborghinis. Like, we all ran through the same issues.
Well, that's what I tell
off.
new time detailers, especially small town detailers. Right, I get to see them on the forums all the time, and they're, well, so and so in Miami is charging $3,000 for a coating, and I can only get $600 for a coating, and I'm like, well,
it's your market.
Well, not only is it your market, the market is less here, but that shop in Miami probably costs $15,000 to $20,000 a month
In rent.
10 employees, overhead, everything. He has a garage in a small town.
Yeah.
You're probably netting the same thing at the end of the day.
That's what I mean. It's like,
and the kids looking, I want to do a Ferrari so bad, and yeah, they're great to do. They look great for social media. Sometimes they come with that client, but two, you're going to make tenfold the money on a Honda Civics because there's thousands more Honda Civics than
you can do 1,000 of them in a day.
Yeah, I mean the Ferraris are, they look great, but they don't pay the bills.
Yeah, I always say that, like, for us too, the show trucks, like, the show trucks are maybe.
You know how it is. We aren't making money at shows.
No, we don't. And a lot of people don't understand that. Everybody's like, oh my God, I want to go work at the shows. It's like, we don't make money at the shows. Like, I make more money here at my shop and locally around my shop than I ever have at a show.
No, the shows are just for visual and presence, and once you're in it long enough, it becomes like your family. But
yeah, if you want the marketing, like, it's your marketing expense.
I tell everyone us show people we're like traveling car carnies.
Essentially.
Because you go to the same show and it's the same vendors, same people. We see each other just across the country.
You see the same group of people. Once in a while, you get different customers.
It must be nice to go to these shows and detail and do all this stuff. And I'm going, do you want my fuel bill? Do you want the hotel bill? Do you want the food bill?
I said the 1 year.
Do you want the 48 hours of staying up straight because you got to get 20 trucks done in 48 hours?
Yeah. The last company I worked with, I went to 10 shows with those guys, and I calculated out what I spent in fuel and hotels and what I charged customers at the shows and what I made. I spent $60,000 more than I made. I was 60,000 negative for that year. If I wouldn't have had my shop here, I would not have survived. Like my shop does really well.
My friends, the same thing. You know how it is with like getting sponsored parts and stuff.
Everybody wants free stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, if I were to take those bumpers and take everything off my truck, did I go to all the shows? I probably could have bought them all retail just in like fuel.
Yeah, this stuff adds up super fast, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is they want to be a part of that scene and that culture.
Oh, it's fun.
It is fun.
It's a lot of stress, but it's fun. A lot of good people in it.
I like the semis better because it's a judged atmosphere. Like there's a point system to it.
Well,
so like
sense.
I can tell when I'm doing better. Like I go to a lifted truck show.
The same person's not going to win because they're friends with so and so, or they got to push apart.
Right. So I go to a lifted truck scene, and it's like I polished what I thought was the coolest truck there, and it was like he didn't even get a mention. Like how does that even happen? Like yeah, there's a lot of cool vehicles here, but this thing has the most level of detail I've ever seen. Like I always go back to Big Willie's truck, like the bottom side of his truck is painted.
Well, that's what like Lady Luck. Like there's nothing under that truck that's not done. Everything is
painted, Lady Luck's the same thing. Like there's nothing on there that hasn't been touched.
Like the old, the older. I say like I feel like the SEMA truck level scene hasn't been the same since 16.
No, I will agree with that.
Everything
100%.
now is powder coated and it's the same lift, same wheels, just 9 denali's in a row. They're the same color.
It's cookie cutter.
Back in the day, you had Tweety and you had Eden and
guys that were doing
$250,000
builds,
building trucks that were coming in, and that lift wasn't on any other truck. Or
Yep.
I feel like Chris Fassig was probably one of the first to really push that envelope. Everything under that truck was polished. In 2016, all his shock towers.
That wasn't all chrome.
It was, but it wasn't powder coated, easy to maintain. Like all these other trucks nowadays, everything's just powder coated.
That's true.
Don't get me wrong, I would powder coat everything too. but
listen, I'm talking about doing chrome, just because I don't want to maintain my own polish.
Yeah, you also want to do a
the polisher never gets to do his own polish. The detailer never has time to detail his own rig.
Let's say it took me 3 years to coat my own truck.
And you do coatings on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But
main reason I didn't coat it forever was you can't test any products on it.
That's true. That's very true.
Once you coat that vehicle, I can't test anything on it.
Yeah.
You want to know the difference.
That's true.
So. And
it's always nicer to test on your own stuff because I can go run through a field here local and cover it and jazz and bring it in and detail it.
That's true.
It is nicer to be able to do that stuff. So how long have you been with Minette?
So technically as a business partner since January.
So just this year?
Yeah, that's why I moved to Dallas. We decided to finally, it was just like trying to do this over the phone and help you with products and help you with ideas on what products need to be made. John's a chemist, so he's not in the field using products every day to see what people need, what people don't need, or what we could improve on with products that somebody else isn't doing with their product.
Yep.
I'm the one out in the field doing it, so helping him with products.
That's a really good duo.
Yeah,
and a super smart chemist.
Detailers need. There's a right now. One of the hardest things to find anything for. I think I've only found 3 things so far. And one of them you have to buy straight from Lamborghini is Alcantara cleaner. So Alcantara is that super fine, micro suede they're putting in everything.
Yeah.
So what most people don't realize is it's not fabric. It's man-made polymers. It's actually plastic. So when you use all these carpet cleaning chemicals, they're burning that plastic. That's why Alcantara doesn't come back.
Really?
So John's working on that right now.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, so if you have Alcantara in your interior, please do not use any carpet cleaning products. It will destroy it.
That'd be a bad deal, especially a Lamborghini. Could you imagine destroying your interior on a Lamborghini and being like, well, now what?
Yeah. And we're shipping this back to Italy.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah. So being there and with him, obviously I'm on the road a lot. Right now I've been on the road for 2.5 months, but being there with him in person and getting to work with products and test things with him in person versus him sending them to me across the country and when I was in Phoenix just helps a lot. Yeah. And now that he's been going out and detailing with me, which is funny, than being a chemist, because sometimes he doesn't know how to use his own products. But he understands it now. And now he sees how I detail and he's like, oh man, he gets to see, well, we don't have a product for that.
Yeah.
So we'll make that.
I feel like that's a disconnect for most big companies though, is they don't detail.
Well, the person that's pushing the product or the person that's making the product, they aren't detailers.
Most of them are bean counters.
Yeah, they're paid. They went to school for marketing.
Yep.
They're not going to clean a car.
Yeah.
Like watching the first time I used Mega Shine with John on an interior. He was doing the interior of his girl's Lexus, and I was doing an A5 for her son. And I had that whole interior on the A5 done. He was still halfway through a door.
Really?
He was putting in a sponge and lightly like shredding it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Spraying a towel.
So I did it, and he wipes down. He goes, whoa. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you know, he wants everything to be perfect.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's the chemical. Like,
yeah.
Everything's to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, working with him has been nuts. Like, being able to, like, make things on the fly.
Yeah.
Like,
it's cool that you've got that outlet.
oh, calling him and be like, okay, I can't get this out of a headliner. Okay, go to the store, buy an apple, green one, cut it in half, buy alcohol in this, mix it together, spray that, then rub it with the apple. And I'm like, what? And no joke, it just sucks it right out into the apple.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the way he walks into a store and he doesn't see fruit, he sees chemicals.
That's wild.
The first round of chemicals we ever made, like as far as like my gloss sauce and the quick detail and his showstopper and all those colors were really fruit.
Really?
He was extracting the color from the rinds of the fruit. So he was buying cases of limes to make gloss sauce green. And
is that to keep the oils and stuff out of it?
Yeah, and well,
because most scents are oils.
Most scents and most dyes are all solvent based. So when you start adding that to your base, you're starting to change the pH. Now he's got it down to where he's making things with dyes, but
see, now most people don't even think of that kind of stuff.
John, that's John. But I couldn't figure out why, like my quick detail spray, the original one, the yellow one, worked amazing. It was made strictly from bananas. He was blending up bananas, putting it in there. That's why it was yellow. But every fly loved it.
I bet.
Yeah, but they worked. I mean, you would never. We still make actually our the matte spray. The reason it's pink is it's still made with lemons and strawberries. He hasn't figured out how to make that color without fruit.
That's crazy. Like that's next level stuff.
And the purple unicorn, the carpet stuff, has it's lemons. He was just complaining to me the other day. Lemons went up in price. I'm like, I keep telling him, like, you gotta figure something out before we.
Before fruit gets crazy.
Yeah, or we gotta buy a farm. Pick one. You're gonna either buy a vineyard or we either.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I watch a lot of your stuff, and your attention to detail is crazy.
Well, working with him and having a chemist in your back pocket. Now that I get to start understanding like why the chemicals are doing what they're doing, like every detailer wants to be a scientist and they want to mix this and that. We all do it. We all mix our compounds and our polishes and like to make it less cut, more cut, better finish, whatever. But to really like start, especially if you eat interior stuff and you start learning pHs and why that breaks down proteins and this doesn't break down fatty acids and like and your stains, like it's changed my whole detailing. Like this whole year has been, I can guarantee I'm putting out better work this year than I've done in the last 4. And I'm doing less work.
That's crazy.
But I'm doing bigger and just better work. I've also slowed down and not started focusing more on what I'm doing versus the dollar.
Yeah. So I too, like, for polishing, metal polishing, it's literally about thoroughfare, like how much you can get through in a day. But you are like.
I'd rather do one car in a day and do every quarter of it.
But I do mobile polishing. You do mobile detailing. Like you're true mobile. Like you travel state to state.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy.
But you do it like next level. Like you don't do like Springer does a lot of production stuff. He does a lot of high end stuff as well. But he does a lot of production stuff as well. Like he goes in and maintains fleets and like comes into one customer that's got 15 vehicles he's got to knock out today. And he's found a way to make money doing that. You've also kind of carved out your own little niche in your...
Well, jumping into the SEMA scene, the truck scene helped, I mean, tenfold. Because it really...
Yeah, everybody sees you.
Yeah, you get in, you're visually there. And then, you know, like, especially being in Phoenix where we have... I think last time I heard there was like 500 plus registered detailing businesses in the county of Maricopa.
Really?
You gotta find, when you walk up to a guy at a show and with your card and you gotta talk to someone and they're like, well, what do you do? You're just one of the thousands of other detailers.
Yeah.
And then even being in the truck scene, I found it was hard to get in with the high-end car guys because then they hear, oh, you do SEMA trucks, you do trucks. They don't hear, they don't hear that truck costs as much as their Ferrari.
Yeah.
They just hear you do trucks. So that was a gap that I've been really pushing this
I've always had that thing with the semis too. Everybody's like, oh, you do semis. Like, you realize some of these trucks are $500,000. Like, this is 2 Lamborghinis sitting here. Like,
yeah, but that's small town life. People don't get that.
That's what I mean. It's like
driving through, like, you see some of these combines and stuff out here, and people don't understand.
They're like $1 million combines.
That old man driving that 99.73 that's never gonna die, that you think is broke.
That combine cost him $1 million.
Yeah, he's got $10 million in farm equipment.
Yeah, like it's people don't understand that, and like I shoot pictures with models when I'm at the shows, mainly to support my customers.
Yeah. And
I do a charity calendar and stuff. And the girls are always like, "Oh, I want to sit on it." Like, no. They're like, "Oh, I sit on Lamborghinis all the time." I'm like, "This is 2 Lamborghinis right here."
I see certain companies at the shows that are putting their girls on the trucks, and I'm just like,
"What are you doing?" Like,
yeah, you have a PDR guy coming behind you and pulling the dents from their knees, and like, come on.
Oh my god, it makes my brain hurt. Like,
SEMA's bad about that though. You'll see these models with their heels up on Bentleys and stuff.
Dude, it's crazy. Like last year, I watched somebody standing in a wheel, and I'm like, I just polished that.
Yeah, those pictures of your baby in your wheel are really cute, but they give us all nightmares.
Like, I know what it's going to take to fix that, and it's not fun. It's not great. So, how many SEMAs have you done now? 3, 4?
16. So, since 16, so that's
4 this year.
4.
Well,
5
this year's
would have been
canceled,
this year.
so you'd have been 5 this year. That's wild.
Yeah, and then I've done at least 9 shows a year since.
And you and I touched on this a little bit when we were in the shop hanging out, that your first 2 SEMAs, all it was waterless?
First SEMA.
First SEMA?
First SEMA was interesting, to say the least.
It was all waterless wash.
All waterless. Was supposed to stay with someone out there. That didn't happen. So the first 4 days, I slept in the back of my truck.
Whoa.
I was just going to the gym and showering every morning.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yep. Slept in the bed of the truck. I had a shell on. I had 99 Dodge and had a shell on the back, so I slept in the back of that.
I'd have found an Airbnb somewhere.
Just went for it. That was before I didn't know anyone. Like, everyone asked me like, so how'd you get into SEMA? And I'm like, well, I had a friend that was building headlights at the time and had one truck. That owner was like, can you come to SEMA and detail my truck? And I went, but you can go there and detail? I was like, a light bulb. And then my roommate at the time told me I couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, okay, watch this.
I'll show you.
Went down the SEMA builds list on Instagram and just started messaging people. I think I got a hold of like Robbie's wife, Keena. I ended up doing stuff for Robbie. I did all the Diesel Brothers stuff that year.
That's crazy.
Waterless. I did a bunch of now great friends, people that have supported me since day one. I did their stuff, Randy's trucks for like Diamond Eye. Yeah, I think I did like 18 trucks waterlessly by myself the first year.
That's wild. And all waterless. Just
all waterless. So when I hear detailers and people say that, oh, I can't figure it out. I don't know how people do this. It's like, if you want something, it's all there.
Yeah, like last year, Paul and I went to SEMA, and we ended up detailing quite a few. I mean, we touched up all of Robbie's builds last year.
I think everyone was cleaning someone's details up last year.
Yeah, so. Like you did quite a few of them yourself as well. But like we did all of Robbie's booth vehicles.
Us and Omar, so Vegas boys, they become like my family at SEMA.
I like Vegas boys. They're good
like
people.
The last 2 years I've been out there, not by myself for a couple days, and then I have a friend, Brandon, who now has his own detailing business in Arizona. His mom lives across from the In-N-Out on Sahara, so I stay there, luckily, for free.
Yep.
And he works with me at SEMA. Well, last year I ended up by myself completely, and until Brandon could get there, and Omar and his wife, like, they would be paying attention. They brought me in and out because they saw me. I hadn't ate all day. We send details back and forth. Like, if I'm just getting to the point where like I'm trying to kill myself getting these trucks done. Like last year I did almost 40 trucks.
By yourself?
7 days. Yeah.
Jeez.
So they send a lot of work back and forth to them guys. Those guys are honestly they're like a heaven sent for SEMA.
They're good for the industry too, for what it's worth.
They're
like,
good people.
They're good people, putting out good content. They're doing it right.
Well, they don't get involved in the drama, and they
They're
don't
not
care.
involved
They
in
don't
the
care
drama.
about any brand names. Nothing. They're just there to be there.
Yeah. Like I met Omar, I want to say 2 years ago at SEMA, And then I got a chance to talk to him again last year, and we were wiping down Craig from Herd Build's truck.
Yeah.
And he comes over, he's like, "You want me to tire shine these tires?" I'm like, "Nah, Craig doesn't like tire shine."
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, listen, Craig doesn't like tire shine." He's like, "All right, man, but if you need anything, just give me a holler." I'm like, "No, no, we're good." And then we ended up sitting around just shooting the breeze for a little bit.
I mean, his crew is probably he has to do at least 200.
I bet he does 200 vehicles. Easily 200 vehicles. Like, they're hustling all week. Like, sun up, past sundown, like, they're hustling.
Between them and then my friend David owns, I'm going to kill it. It's ADSLV.
Yeah.
It's automotive detailing supplies in Las Vegas. They're in Henderson.
Actually, I talked to him for quite a bit.
So
we had lunch
They
one day.
have spot free water on the building there, so that helps too. But yeah, SEMA's it's fun. It looks great on TV, and all you people that get to go there for 4 days and walk around, I'm jealous. It's 14 days of hell. But,
I said one of these years I'm just gonna go and chill.
No, you won't.
Like,
it's like you told me out there when I said I would love to go to SEMA and just walk around. And you're like, no, because everyone's gonna know who you are and ask you to fix this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, same with you.
Yeah, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, this company bailed on me, or this company didn't do it right, or you're like, all right, like, you got stuff with you? Like, I didn't bring none of my stuff. And like, yeah, we'll go get some.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we go and get product from somebody else. And it's like, laying on the ground in my good clothes, like.
Trying to fix somebody else, Oh, SEMA, or show life in general.
Honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything either.
There's no scheduling. I try to explain to people, like, the new detailers coming into this show, seeing you all want to do this. Okay, so-and-so's here at 11, 12, 1, whatever.
They won't be there.
I got my ass handed to me by doing that first couple of years.
You know,
I just tell everybody, give me a 2-hour window of when you're coming in. Because it gives me 2 hours to finish what I'm working on, or move something, or whatever. Because everyone blows a tire, the weather sucks. You're driving across the country, shit happens. Like, no one's ever there on time. And I spend more time detailing at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning than...
Oh, yeah. So Keenan and I went in thinking we were going to light the world on fire, because we do pretty well in the semi scene. But, like, our semi guys, like, I can schedule them 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and they are there 15 minutes ahead of time and ready. Like, and you better get them done at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but they also don't wait until 3 weeks before a big show to build their whole truck, so...
Yeah, so Keenan and I thought, we're going to go in and light the world on fire. Like, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I still remember how to detail. So it's like, we're gonna kill this thing. And we went in the first day and we're like, where is everybody? Mm-hmm. Like, I had you scheduled for 7. And we messaged them and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm almost there, bro. And it was like 7 o'clock at night, they're rolling in.
And then
like,
someone
how
shows
are you
up and wants
12 hours late?
Oh, 12 hours late, and then they show up 2 hours late, and then you ended up filling their spot with someone else, and they think as soon as they show up, you should immediately get on theirs, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I had somebody scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to wait till 7 o'clock tomorrow morning so I can
or
do yours before I get started with everybody else.
And it'll get done.
Like,
which is basically where I'm at. Most people just drop their vehicles off and they know that they go do their thing and come back.
Yeah. And honestly,
or they hang out.
We learned by SEMA last year that was the way to do it. Like, just tell me you need it done. This is where we're at. Yeah. Drop it off.
When do you have to have it done by? When are you being placed? Because even at the SEMA scene, I got to be placed by Monday at whatever time. And then that changes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we noticed everybody changed last year. That's just
that's every show.
Mosquito.
That's why, like, anyone that lives their life on a very, very planned out, like.
That's me. I like everything scheduled and planned, and it ruined my life.
Yeah, that's why everyone's like, how do you do this? I'm like, my favorite saying and John's favorite saying, it is what it is. Like, you just get
I would have to
it's 48 hours.
My brain.
That's just 48 hours of just get it done. And then on Saturday, which most of you don't even see me at the shows anymore, it's because I'm sleeping. Yeah. Because Thursday and Friday I have been up for 2 days. Yeah. Yeah, it's just get it done. Like, do what you gotta do, get it done. Because once the show starts, it's over. Yeah.
I said, honestly, I want to do Louisville, my big truck show. Dallas, my big truck show. I'd like to stay doing SEMA every year I possibly can. Because I thoroughly enjoy SEMA.
I always say that, like, you know, man, it'd be nice not to do the shows. And then it's like, or not travel as much. And then the more I travel, the more, like this year, I've really just, last year, I traveled because I had to, and the truck broke down, and we went through all that. And then I started detailing just to survive, and this year I'm detailing to like it again.
Yeah.
The more I've traveled and realized that's just kind of what I'm known for.
I'll tell you what, this year, like with COVID, like we had the police here at our shop because an anonymous person called us in for being non-essential, and we were essential. We dealt with the state for all that stuff, and we got to stay open during the whole shutdown from COVID, but we weren't allowed to leave our shop and work outside of our shop we're still technically not supposed to. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you guys, Wisconsin was like completely.
Ours was on a federal level.
You guys were completely shut down.
Yeah, we were for like
Texas
3
was
months.
Texas was county based. Like certain mayors, like Montgomery County, told the state to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, right. So it was like, I've been home all year this year. Like we didn't have any shows until my local show upon here. So it was like, I've been around my wife and kids all year. Like I love them, but it's weird not seeing my show family. Like,
see, if I didn't travel and like going to Florida and seeing Brendan, and stopping in Tennessee and seeing Josh, which is where I'm going back to tonight. So I'm seeing the show family. I'm traveling to them.
Yep.
So
some of them have come through the shop here this year just to get touched up, polished and stuff. But it's weird not having like 1,000 people around at a show. Like it's very different. It's a different feel this year. I don't know. I don't want to say it's depressing, but it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I always like complain, oh my god, I gotta go do Orange Beach and it's gonna be 48 hours of literally killing myself. But then you get there and you start seeing everyone that you haven't seen in a couple months, and like it is like our little show family. Like you see everyone that you get, even from vendors all the way down to now it's clients that have become, honestly, most of the people in the show scene are really my probably closest friends now.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of mine are as well. A lot of my truckers are, I talk to them more than I talk to some of my family, and it's sad because I love my family, but I talk to those guys more than I talk to some of my family.
Yeah.
So what's been like the highlight of your career? What's like, I don't care if it's the coolest truck you worked on or one of the top awards that you've won, like just anything. I know you got Chip Foose's tattoo on your arm, so maybe that's it too. I don't know.
That was pretty cool.
It is cool. I won't lie. Like the fact that he signed it and you went and got it tattooed, like that's pretty dope.
My buddy Brandon stood in line for 3 hours at SEMA last year, and 5 people from Chip. He's like, I'm in line. I ran over and got it, and ran and got it tattooed.
That's pretty wild.
Just the people you meet at the shows. I mean, as far as cars I've done, I don't know. You know how it is. The more you keep getting into more and more stuff, the more jaded you get. I don't know. That's
what I mean. Is like nothing really. Very few times.
Like I really thought the Eleanor was gonna be like, I could do an Eleanor, and then it's like.
Don't get me wrong, just another vehicle.
It's an Eleanor, but.
It was just another vehicle.
Yeah, I know.
I hate it. Like,
I like to see the guys at this gas station with the C10 that's 5 different colors, and because they're still building it. Like to me, that's.
I like a lot of the project builds as well. That's always a good thing for me. Like the truckers, I love watching it, that they're building it while they're driving it. Like the guys that tear them down and build them and then release them at our big shows, like that stuff's cool too. But I like the guys that build them while they're driving them.
I don't know, seeing like the stuff that I worked on, like trucking magazine covers and and then like Diesel World Mag and stuff like that. It's cool to see. I mean, obviously we don't see that anymore because they're all going paperless, but that's always been fun.
That's probably the saddest part of going paperless is people aren't getting like the actual magazine covers anymore. Like
you might still get that printout from them and put on the wall, but it's never gonna be like
Yeah, it's sad.
Being from a small town, like
seeing the magazines.
You start traveling and doing all this, like the high-end cars and trucks. Like my parents always want to see and send them a magazine so they can be like, oh.
See the magazine sitting in the magazine stand at the gas station, and you're like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, like when we did Dar's truck and front cover logo right on the front cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like awesome. Just sit there and go, huh? That's actually my logo. But
that's pretty cool. Like, and it's different. Like in all the conversations I've ever had with you, like you and I talked about it a little bit today. That like detailing and polishing are like two different sides of the brain.
Oh, I look at what you do, and like on a daily basis, and nope. I would rather polish your truck 15 times than to do a semi.
Yeah. Really? Oh, man.
Maybe I'll do wheels now because I got this down. But
I was gonna say you got it down pretty good too.
But yeah, polish out like a full like a dairy tank.
Yeah.
No. I look at that and that gives me anxiety. Like even when Peter posted that and tagged you, and I was like, you two.
That 48-foot tanker.
Yeah, I'm like, you and Evan just that. You guys can have that.
It does take a different breed to do the big stuff like that, and a lot of young polishers want to do big jobs. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah, the big jobs look amazing for social media, but you can pump out like, it's like me getting to do a 40-foot toy hauler. Yes, that's a great payday for a coating, but I could probably do your truck 4 times.
Yeah, and make the same money in less time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not be on a ladder every day.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, that's the biggest thing is like, I'm up on scaffolding, hoping I don't fall off, hoping the grinder don't fly up. Like,
especially when you're using a rotary, and you're on a ladder, and that thing's pulling you across, and you're trying to like core weight yourself on the ladder, and you have no idea how many ladders I've fallen off.
Oh, dude, I've fallen off so many ladders. Like, I don't know how I even broke my back.
The first toy hauler I ever coated, I fell off the OSHA safe top ladder rung. Fell off. I somehow sunk my feet into the ladder. The ladder's still going over. Held that bottle of coating, elbow straight to the floor, but I never dropped that coating.
Oh, how did you not shatter your elbow?
I don't know. I sat there for a minute though. But yeah, that was.
I was at a toy hauler. That was my first fall off. Was up on a toy hauler. I was at a show. Didn't have scaffolding. We had a ladder to get up on the roof, and I had to buff the top rail. And I was buffing it, and I caught a light, and it yanked me right off. Threw me. Luckily, I landed in the grass. And I landed on my back. I thought I broke all my ribs. Like,
how many times I've fallen off like ladder, like at the shows, because you don't want the ladder touching those trucks.
Yep.
You just push off, and you're gonna eat it. That's what it is. As long as that ladder doesn't touch that paint, you're good.
Yeah. And honestly, you work on some of the coolest stuff. Like, I mean, you get some of the big names in the industry.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I have some really big named people that have supported me.
You've got a really good client base. There's no doubt about it. And it is kind of nice that you can travel around the country and stay busy through that client base. That's
well, I mean,
cool.
Right, like you said, you've been stuck here through COVID. I've been
able to jump from customer to
Orange Beach and back. I left on June 26th to go to scraping. Didn't really plan on doing much of scraping. I really only went there to like say hi to a couple people and maybe help do one truck.
Ended up working.
Ended up helping Nick with 3 or 4 trucks because knew him being newer in the full-time washing in the SEMA scene. He tried to be here at a certain time, and I was watching him just people started overlapping, and I'm like, I'm just gonna help him.
Yeah.
Jumped in, helped him. He's he does great work too. And then drove to Florida, and I have been from Dallas to Key West to Michigan, around the UP to you since June 26th.
Well, I'm glad you stopped by because you were one of the people that I definitely wanted to get on the podcast at some point in time. And just because I hold you up in the detailing world as one of my top guys. I mean, Paul's been doing it for, I think he said 30-some years. And honestly, I think he is one of the most talented detailers I've seen because he does it like I do to the polishing scene. Like, he's found a way to make money doing fleet work.
Yeah.
And
there's a ton of money in fleet work and doing
a lot of maintenance
washes,
work.
Stuff like that. My brain doesn't work that way.
I know, but you found a way to like tailor yourself to the high-end clients. You found a way to work around their schedule that's worked. Like, I've seen you work at shows and like you're doing coatings, you're doing full details. Like
LST. This year I've been at the 2 shows I've done, Orange Beach and LST. Usually I'm in a parking lot and I'm just pumping out as many washes as I can. Yep. At LST I did 6 vehicles. I did 2 full corrections and a coating and a full like SEMA detail on Salinas' truck.
That's wild.
But those are 2 years around LST, the trucks I've done have taken best undercarriage. But people don't realize it's 7 hours of detailing on the undercarriage alone.
To get that to happen. Yeah. Like that's crazy. Like some of our semis, I've
I
got
spend more time laying under trucks than most people will ever in
I've
their
got
life.
30 hours detailing some of these guys, like when we're at the pickup shows, because like it's white glove treatment. Like they get white gloves out to try and find dirt and
Yeah,
dust.
so it's like a concourse event for trucks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's probably the next step of what I want to try to get into is more restoration style and start doing stuff like Monterey Car Week and concourse stuff.
Like
I don't know if I ever want to get like one of the people I watch a lot of is like Scott Nichols.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, probably one of the biggest guys I've watched. He does concourse details.
Yeah.
Doing 9 or 10 of them a year, but he's doing 3-month details. Like, I don't know if I could ever do that much mentally focus on one car for that long, but I want to start getting into it more.
Paul talked about that in his podcast that he did one of the Riddlers this year.
Oh, that's cool.
And the amount of time he had in that, I think he said he built out 200 hours. I mean, that's 5 weeks.
To get to work on a Riddler car would be nuts.
Dude, and the one they did, like, it's one of the nicest cars I've... Next trip out there, I'm going to get to go and see this thing and actually, like, not literally put my hands on it, but be, like, right there close enough I could. And I honestly can't wait to see it, because every video he sent me was, like, there was no inch of that thing that he didn't touch. Like...
Yeah, they're pulling nuts, bolts, and
It's
cleaning everything.
crazy. Yeah. Like...
Probably the most expensive car I've touched is Paul Walker's all-aluminum body Shelby.
Yep.
Cobra. That one I had to prep before Barrett Jackson. And that was like, I was watched the entire time because was the last car to come off the AC Shelby line.
Really?
And it is hand-rolled aluminum, so there's still imperfections in that car. But those imperfections are why that car is what it is. Because it's actually hand-rolled aluminum.
That's crazy.
There's no motor in that car or nothing, but it's still
Just a rolling chassis.
still worth over a couple million.
That's nuts.
Because the last one to come out of the actual Shelby.
So did you have to polish it or did you just detail it?
I just cleaned it up for Barrett Jackson.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing that you did that you thought you were going to make money, you got in, and you lost your tail on?
There's been a couple learning curves, like when I first started traveling, and so-and-so will be like, oh, I got 9 trucks for you to do as soon as you get here, and then it always ends up being 1. So I will tell you, if you were going to start traveling as a detailer, deposits. Deposits. And I still struggle with it. I trust too many people too much, but...
Yeah. We did that too. We trusted everybody.
You get somewhere, and the next thing you know, you've done 1 vehicle, and that covered your fuel.
Or you got there and they were out on the beach partying and didn't want to bring their truck to get detailed. They were like, I'm just going to park it for the weekend because it's going to rain. Like, okay, awesome.
That's the year at Daytona, when the first year you met us. Yeah. That year, every single show except for SEMA, we got rain for detailing. I detailed in the rain for almost 8 shows.
Ooh. We detailed in the rain for LST twice.
Well, that's why this year it was raining. And I did a truck for Chaotic Customs, and they're just a little bit farther out in Conroe. Well, they're in like this luxury storage place. I wouldn't say it's a storage. Like in the corner units, it's an apartment above the storage. They're nice, super nice. The owner traded me out some work on one of his stuff and gave me a 20-foot by 18-foot bay to work out of.
That comes in
power,
handy.
Water, whatever I needed was there. So I did the trucks there because it was supposed to rain all weekend. And we all know LST isn't. Hopefully this year we don't get that weather, but LST always ends up being a mud pit, a mud fest. It's always wet. And I was not going to sit in the parking lot and try to fight that. So
yeah, it's always wet.
Yeah.
All right, so my last question, and then I'll let you ask me a question. But the last question I have is, you said you've been doing this 5 years. If you could go back to you, if I brought you a time machine tomorrow, and I could take you back to yourself 5 years ago, what would be maybe the best piece of advice or best couple pieces of advice that you could give yourself to put yourself in a better position now?
Biggest thing I tell the new detailers now is just save up and buy it once. I tried the whole, well, I'll just buy this one and then it'll work for a little bit and then you buy the next one. And no, you spend so much more money doing that and you end up chasing your tail. And when you're trying to, like, especially one thing I try to help new detailers with, and a lot of them I've gotten good feedback on it, is when you're first starting out, you may not have the money to go buy 5 gallons of each of these products.
Yeah.
find something you love, buy 5 gallons of it. Find something else you love, use it for a while. Every time you get a big detail or you save up, just keep trying to accumulate 5 gallons of each of the products because
it'll save you in the
your
long run.
cost at the end of the day. Like,
I try to tell everybody the same thing with grinders. Like, a lot of people go to Harbor Freight and they buy the cheap grinders. And I'm like, all right, so you spent $40 on that grinder and it burnt out this week. You had to drive back to the store.
Yeah, time is money. Every time you have to go back somewhere, that's money.
And then they bought another one for $40 or they warrantied it. And it was like, all right, so now you got the warranty, but you still had to pay $15 for the new warranty. So how many times do you drive back and forth to that store before you may as well have just bought a Makita or a DeWalt or a Milwaukee, something nice that has torque and
day
you don't
one
have to
just to buy a Flex, I would have bought a Flex.
Yeah, I saw you use a lot of Flex.
But
Paul's a firm believer on the Flex. He uses the cordless, you use the wired. And you and I talked about that.
With me being mobile, traditionally everything I'm doing is on the fly. Like on the mobile, I don't really have... I do a lot of shop stuff that I trade off with shops around.
Yeah.
But most stuff I'm doing, I don't have time to be there for 3 days. I don't have a shop. So with the Flex, you have the ability to dig like a rotary.
Yeah.
Less likely to destroy anything like a rotary.
Right.
But you also have that ability to finish with it too.
Wow.
And especially with a lot of the new cars and the higher end cars, you got a lot of body roll. And I'm way too impatient for clutch stall on regular DA. So.
Yeah, you definitely move pretty quick. Like you definitely don't mess around. Like you get it done.
You start to learn,
where you
certain
can cut corners,
compounds
where you
work for
can't.
certain paint, certain compounds don't work for certain paint. And
Yeah. And your little trailer's set up
the
solid.
pads and the compounds nowadays, like the technology is just, it's crazy. Like I still have McGuire's 105 because it's still a staple.
Yeah.
But you get these old products like 3M and they just dust everywhere, and the new stuff is so much easier to work with. You have no, even if some of this stuff, even if you were to not tape it off and hit the trim, you're not going to get white.
Yeah.
Because it's solvent. But
comes in handy.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely spend a lot of money chasing myself around with products and chasing with, because when you first start out, everyone buying off the shelf, you don't know better. And then you realize that, like, you're just,
Yeah.
Like buying wheel cleaner, for instance. Like, when I first started, I was using whatever I could find off the shelf, right?
Yep.
Wires, all wheel, whatever.
Yep.
And then you start buying things like nanoskins, like Speedy Bright that we were using for a while. That's $10 or $20 for a gallon that cuts 10 to 1. You're making 10 gallons out of a $20 versus a $25 24-ounce spray bottle that you're done in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys can find concentrates and stuff that you love.
And stuff that works.
Stuff that you love and stuff that works. And don't get... We both have our own brands and it's... Yes, I push Minettes a lot, but like... as a new detailer... Sell yourself and sell your work. Don't put a brand on your back right away, because
that's one thing I wish you'd have told me that a few years back.
You lose who you are, and you also everyone associates you with that brand. So like if that brand and you'd ever go separate ways, now
it's a hard hill to cross.
Yeah, now you're with so and so, you're with so and so, you're so and so. Well, then they forget who you are. Whereas like I have no logos on the truck right now.
Yep.
And I have not pushed a lot of stuff on social media. I've done more work this year being unbranded.
Really?
Because people are hiring me for me. They're not hiring me for the brand.
And I will say,
as a detailer, they're not hiring you for that product that you're using.
Yeah, honestly...
Use what works for you.
Only thing I've ever heard in the past few years is I won't use you because of that product. Like something went wrong with that product. Company said something to somebody they didn't agree with.
Well, that happens a lot in the truck world. That's the problem, is like from lifts to wheels to detailing products, so-and-so burned so-and-so and then they don't use this.
Yeah.
That's more the lifted truck scene, I feel like.
Well, honestly, it's a semi-scene too. Like I've had customers that wouldn't use me because I was using a certain product.
Oh, yeah.
And now that I've left, now I've got them back. It's like the only reason you didn't come to me was because of that product. Like that makes no sense to me. Like I'm still the one putting in the work every day. Like what product I choose to use shouldn't matter. But some people are just...
Well, every product line has, even yours and ours. Like every product line has winners and it has losers. Not every product line is going to be the literal best thing on the planet. Like
right.
A traditional glass cleaner, right? But that has no sealants, nothing. I mean, how much better can most glass cleaners get than the other? Those are fillers in most lines.
Yep.
Just, find something you love and use it and go for it. I mean, John and I tell even new detailers that we want to be with Minettes. Like, we're not here to shove Minettes down your throat and you have to use Minettes only. Like, use what you love of our products. Yep. Use what you use. Like, I'm still going to help you.
I still try to promote everybody. Like, yeah. I've gotten away from that. We
make way more money together as a whole, as an industry, than we'll ever make
apart.
And I will say in the last 2 years, the industry has become more. I feel like the industry has come together a lot more. You see a lot more detailers
amongst the small detailers
helping
and the guys like ourselves.
Yeah, like there's certain detailers. Like I mean, every day I'm texting another detailer, and they're messaging me just, new guys or people that are working. Well, how do I use this? What do I use this? Like, I've been talking with a gentleman out of North Carolina. He's been detailing for 30 years, and he's just like, I don't understand how you get things done so quickly, and he's buying things off the shelf still, and
right.
I'm explaining to him all this stuff, and he's like, wow, that's so much cheaper, and that's way easier, and it's, I still learn every single day. Yeah. Technology changes so fast that
I still buy stuff off the shelf once in a while, even though I have my own brand. Like, if I see something cool on the shelf, I still buy it and try it out.
I'm always walking down the chemical aisle, what's new on the market, and
I just want to keep in tune with what's all going on. Like, I don't see everything that comes through Facebook or Instagram, and it's like...
Yeah, and people would be really crazy to think that I use Harbor Freight pads quite often. The new Bauer pads are honestly identical to Roops pads. I know you Roops guys that are like a cult, but the new Bauer pads on the fly for $9 are great pads.
Yeah, if you needed a pinch.
That black Denali I did that I had to sand completely, that was all Harbor Freight pads.
Really?
It's not all the product. It's a lot. It's all the detailer.
It does. I always say
products
that,
help. Don't get me wrong.
Products should just accentuate the talents of the person using it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're using crap product, it's still going to be crap
detailing
product.
And like what you guys do, what you're doing, it's all in prep, how much you care, what finish you want to leave, technique. It's not so much don't get me wrong, there's certain products that make our lives way easier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If I had to detail a car with just stuff off the Walmart shelf, I could still do it.
I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be great. It's definitely going to take me longer.
That's my biggest thing with new detailers is find what you love. Don't worry about making your Facebook page one whole brand, because then you alienate yourself to everyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're being paid by that company that you're putting on your back.
Even then, I hope it's paid a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
because all you are is just making them money.
I appreciate all the people that support the brand.
Oh, yeah.
And I try to repost them as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I don't get mad at them when I see them using another product.
No,
I understand that everybody's got to use what works for them.
I don't use just Minettes. Yeah, I own we're part of the company, but I still use some stuff here and there that we don't make.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I know some people.
I still like to try new stuff all the time. So.
I know some people that'll castrate each other for it, and there's no reason for it.
Oh, you're not using that? Like, how are you not using that?
I found something better.
Look at Turtlebox this year. Turtlebox just sat dormant for the last 6 years of just.
All of a sudden, they got 100 new products.
Their ceramic sealants are getting rated higher than Mothers and McGuire's in the detailing pages.
That's crazy.
You
It's crazy to see how the industry is just changing. It seems like day to day, everything's just changing so fast. I mean, the ceramics have just taken over.
Well, now you're seeing graphene, and now they're talking oleophobics, and eventually, Mercedes has been putting ceramic in their paint in Germany, so eventually that bubble's going to pop because it's going to be all already painted on. So,
I have a hard time understanding how that's all going to work, but we'll see as it progresses how that all plays out.
You saw today. Would have told me 3 years ago that little bottle of ceramic was going to do what it does.
Protect for 5 years? Yeah, it just blows my mind.
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It just blows my mind. I can't even wrap my head around it still. But alright, last thing. I'll let you ask me a question. The only thing I don't let is religion and politics, which I know you wouldn't do anyways.
Yeah, but that's good.
I feel like we all just don't care.
No.
It's just whatever.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Religion and politics doesn't mean anything in the car world.
Right.
Asking you a question, I mean, it's crazy, getting to work, with you polishing the truck with me today, because I put you at, probably one of the best metal polishers that I see, and, we talk all the time on the phone, and you always are straightforward and giving me, business advice and stuff, and, I don't know.
This is always the tough one.
It is a tough one.
So like some people got a question like they've been waiting to ask me.
Well, I feel like we talk on the phone quite a bit, so most of the things I want to ask you, I just ask you.
I just answer right away.
Yeah.
Get it done and over with.
Is there anything that you like any? As far as new detailers like me, you know, I've been I've understood how to polish aluminum, but like, is there anything you would give the new detailer who wants to learn how to polish aluminum, like as far as advice of not being afraid of it?
Find a polisher.
Like today, you were like, it's all pressure, not in technique. Whereas like paint's different.
I would say anybody that's looking to get transition from detailing to add polishing to what they do. I know I've said this 100 times. There's a lot of great YouTube videos out there. There's more guys other than myself putting out quality content on YouTube. You still cannot substitute actual training.
That's why I drove here.
Yeah.
Is because you can talk to me through it on the phone 100 times. I can talk to
and instantaneously,
other guys in the industry 100 times like I have.
Today, just watching you, I knew right away it was pressure and your pad was just at a bad angle. Once I got you to square your pad up and add a little pressure, the problem was gone.
Yeah.
The problem that we've been trying to figure out for like the last 3-6 months, like.
Well, that and technique, like spinning the wheel versus trying to do it all like sitting stationary.
Right. But there's other guys other than myself that are doing training. I would say honestly, if you're a detailer and you're thinking about doing it, find another polisher that's willing to train you. There are other guys out there other than myself if you don't want to come to me.
Yeah.
And just, even if it's just a day, like if you took a day course on just general common knowledge
just
on metal
watching
polishing.
Just watching you do it and standing there going, oh, I work way too hard on polishing aluminum. That's why I've always hated it. Like, and anyone in the show scene will know. Even other detailers, they know.
Yeah.
When it comes to polishing wheels, I normally just send them to you or another polisher in the industry at the shows, because I can do it. I don't feel comfortable enough to sit there and polish out. Now I do, watching you do it and sitting there actually polishing your wheels today.
Honestly, I think a lot more detailers are going to transition into that because a lot of guys see that we have been capitalizing on that market.
Well, if you're gonna, especially if you're gonna do this with trucks like I do, that's just part of the job.
It's part of the job. Yeah, it's become just common every day now, and getting into the 30x16s, it's like there's that much more wheel to polish. It's like you have to maintain them because as soon as they start getting wet and running through rain, it's like they're trashed.
Yeah.
So I would say just find somebody.
Even if you ceramic coat your polished wheels, which you should not do.
Do not do that, please. I beg of you, please do not do that. Like I've buffed off some ceramic coats already, and they are not fun at all. Like with the buffer on the paint, that was actually not terrible. Well, I'm sure sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes I've had to sand a couple of them off.
But on wheels, like it is terrible. Aluminum's like a sponge and it soaks it in just a little bit, so you gotta sand way deeper than you want to, and it's just not great. Like please don't ceramic coat your wheels, especially if you plan on using me to polish. Please don't do that. Yeah. Because I do not want to polish with ceramic coating.
Me or Joey Gaines. We've been pushing this for 2 years now. Everyone wants to coat their polished wheels.
Thank you to Joey Gaines as well as you for telling people not to do this, because I've been saying it for a long time.
Well, Joey's also a metal polisher and a detailer.
His brother metal polishes too. Yeah.
So it's like for me and him, we're more show in the truck scene.
And they understand that you're just making more work for yourself down the road, and it's not going to end well.
It's still going to oxidize underneath that coating, just like
because it breathes from the inside out. Yeah. It's just miserable. But all right, I appreciate that. I know you got to get rolling. You're going to head towards Tennessee tonight.
Back on the road.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by and
taking
taking
the time. On the road and then back to Dallas. That's if Josh doesn't talk me into going to Alabama.
He will.
I know.
You're going to Alabama.
Yeah, I had another 3 days to this
trip.
If
you do go to battle in Alabama, Josh Rowan, the guy that does my drawings, he will be there with his bourbon.
Yeah.
He's got a slammed out, I think it's an orange Suburban. Yeah, it's orange. It's like generally orange. Twin turbo, crazy build.
Yeah, some of the guys in the lower trucks, like we do a lot of lifted stuff, but some of these guys in the lower trucks.
Hit up Josh. Tell him you were here. Tell him you saw my wall of artwork.
I'm definitely gonna get him to do some stuff.
He's a good dude, and he's been like a brother from another mother for me. Like, just getting to know Josh, his drawings, his renderings and stuff are just crazy.
Insane.
His level of detail is unreal. This picture of Big Willie over here, with Baller Holler, and it's just crazy. Like I told him to add his name to it somewhere. And honestly, all of his drawings have his name hidden somewhere in it. And yeah, it's become.
Yeah, he does an insane, incredible work.
He's good.
Thank you, Evan, for making me shirts tonight, by the way.
Yeah, my wife, she's...
Maybe some shirts on the fly.
She's good. We love our new t-shirt machine, and she's been coming in and killing it, so it worked out good. You needed something. See a need, fill a need.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, working with you, it's like you got the same mentality as like me and John. It's not about the dollar, it's about building a family. And
it used to be more about the other side, but
the more I started worrying about the dollar,
the less I made.
And then not this year, I've just been doing it on my own time and on my own speed and just enjoying it again.
Yeah. It's nice to just be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time, and drive safe tonight, all right?
All right.
Good to see you, buddy. Thank you.